What's going on, YouTube? My name is Zach with Android Digest, and today I'm very excited because I have the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus here, and I'm going to be giving you my first impressions of this device. So let's get straight into it, and let's check out the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus. Alright, so one of the first things I do want to talk about is actually the box itself, because if you do look at the box right here, you're going to see that the box is very, very small, and that's because this does not come with a charging brick. Now, this tablet is supposed to charge up to 45 watts in charging speed, and that's very good, but that means you are going to need a 45 watt charging brick to actually charge this device that fast. Now, you might be wondering if you actually need a Samsung charging brick or if you could use a third-party option. And honestly, I haven't really tested the third-party options, so I can't say for sure how many watts you're actually getting with those other chargers. Just keep in mind that the S22 Ultra, it was having some problems charging up to 45 watts, so keep in mind that this device may have some problems as well. It may only charge up to 40 watts in speed, and it may only be with Samsung chargers, and I just haven't tested that yet, so I can't say for sure. But I am grateful that inside the box you still get the S Pen, and that is a great bonus because iPads do not come with a pen or a stylus or anything like that. And this base model here, it did release at $899. Now that's $50 higher than last year's Tab S7 Plus, but keep in mind that they did raise the amount of RAM in the base model to 8 gigabytes, and of course there's 128 gigs of storage and 256 gigs, which is of course a little bit higher in price. So the Tab S8 Plus, it does have the same dimensions as the Tab S7 Plus, and that means that it works with all of the same cases from last year and all of the same keyboard cases, but they do have this special keyboard case called the Slim keyboard case, and one thing you need to know about this keyboard case is that it does not detach, so this is not a detachable keyboard. Also, if you put the S Pen here, there's nothing to cover it up, so you do actually have to store your S Pen inside the case, and it will not be charging inside the case, so every once in a while you may have to take it out and charge it on the outside and then put it back inside the case. Because this is not detachable with a kickstand or anything like that, you're not going to see a billion positions you could put this device in. It's only one position, it magnetizes to it, and that's it. So this keyboard case basically makes this tablet a laptop. So this device is a little bit different than that Tab S7 Plus because that did come with a keyboard that had a trackpad, and that was a really big thing. Plus the keyboard was detachable, so you could still use the kickstand and you could put it in all different types of positions. So if you have that old keyboard case, good news, it will work with this tablet. And if you want to buy one, good news, you can still buy one. In fact, there are a lot of great deals on that case, and I do have links in the description for that. But just keep that in mind, of course, because if you got a deal on this Slim keyboard case, or if you did get it for free, for example, you may want to sell it if you're not going to use it. Now, if you're going to use this in laptop mode, you need to know that this keyboard does have good travel. That's a great thing. But on the other end, the keyboard case is not very good for those of you who want to quickly detach your device and use it in tablet mode. So just keep all that in mind. And if we look at the device itself, you're going to see that the design is very similar to that Tab S7 Plus. You do have two speakers on this side and two speakers on this side as well with a USB-C port. You still have a micro SD card slot, and I'm very glad they did not take that away. You still have your magnetic connection on the bottom, and the weight of this tablet is nearly identical to that Tab S7 Plus. You also have similar bezels, of course, so if you put this side by side with the Tab S7 Plus, I don't think you would even notice which tablet is which. But they did improve the durability of this device a little bit, so they did actually strengthen this device as far as the frame, so that is one good thing that you will see with this device. But other than that, you're just not going to see a lot of differences, of course, with this and the Tab S7 Plus. And that extends when you go to the display of this device. You're again going to get 120 Hertz. It's going to look gorgeous. It's going to be AMOLED. And it's a great screen. It's one of the better screens that you're going to see. Now, it is a little bit glossy, so you are going to see some reflections, and that is just how it is, honestly, but it still gets pretty bright, and it's about the same brightness as that Tab S8 Ultra, and the AMOLED just looks so good as far as this display. But again, you're going to get about the same display as you got in the Tab S7 Plus. Now, the performance is a little bit better than that Tab S7 Plus, but not really that much better. So if you look at the benchmarks, which I'm not not a big benchmark guy, but if you do compare it, you're going to see very similar scores as far as the Geekbench scores. And that's because the processor in this, I don't know if they're throttling it a little bit or not, but honestly, because it does generate a little more heat, I don't think you're going to feel a ton of heat in this. I'm not saying this overheats or anything. I'm just saying that it does affect the performance a little bit, and when they do throttle it down, again, I think the performance will be very similar to the Tab S7 Plus. But one area that is much better as far as performance is not only the extra RAM you get in the base model, again, you get 8 gigabytes of RAM in this base model, but you're also going to get a boost in GPU performance. So this does have much better graphics performance, and that just means that games, things like that, you're going to play at much higher settings. So the Tab S7 Plus was already amazing for games. This will be even better for doing creative things with games or video editing and things like that. So that is a great thing to see. One other notable difference between this and the S7 Plus is the S Pen latency, and I am not a great artist by any means, and honestly the latency was super low on the Tab S7 Plus anyway. I thought it felt phenomenal, but they did improve the latency in this Tab S8 Plus. The stylus, it works absolutely great. And the software, you might wonder about the software. Well, the software is really the same as the Tab S7 Plus because they did upgrade the Tab S7 Plus to Android 12. So you're not going to see a bunch of notable software differences right now, but one huge thing that Samsung did announce is that they are giving 4 years of software updates to this tablet. Now, they are not giving 4 years to the Tab S7 Plus. That device only gets 3 years of updates. So that's a huge thing because that device, if you have a Tab S7 Plus, you really need to hear this. That device released with Android 10, and then they released Android 11 for it shortly after, and then Android 12, of course, so it only has one update left. At least that's what I'm assuming based on what we've seen. But this device is going to get 4 years of software updates, and it released with Android 12, so that's a huge thing. So this tablet is great. My first impressions of this are phenomenal. And that's not because it's so different from the Tab S7 Plus, but it's because they improved some good basic things that I really like. Now, there are still some flaws with it. One thing I'm already noticing is that the fingerprint sensor is a little bit slower than I'm used to. But either way, it is still very accurate. It's just a little bit slow for me. But other than that, this tablet has really not had a lot of issues at all. But I think a big thing a lot of you are really going to have to consider is if you should, of course, buy it. And that's really complicated. I think a lot of you who have the older tablets, like the Tab S7 or the Tab S7 Plus, this is not going to be a huge upgrade, but I still think a lot of you should still consider buying it, mainly because there may be some good deals that you're going to see. So if you're looking at full price and you have no deals, no good trade-in deals, I don't think I would recommend upgrading to this from the Tab S7 Plus or from the Tab S7. But based on the pre-order deals that I've seen, I think Samsung is going to continue to put out a lot of great deals. So they were giving $500 if you traded in a Galaxy Tab S7 FE. That device was on eBay for $350, so I literally bought one on eBay for $350. I traded it in for $500, and I got $150 extra off. They also have really good student deals, that's another thing. And of course, they were at the pre-order time, the pre-order launch, they were giving a free keyboard cover out. Now, will they do some of those things as well? I'm sure they will. Now, they might give half off the keyboard cover later and still give you a good trade-in. They might have some other deals out there, right? So I think if you get a great deal for this, if you get a really good trade-in, maybe you don't get a good trade-in, but you get a free keyboard cover or something like that. I think this is definitely a device that you should still consider upgrading to, mainly because of those software updates. So I think the software updates and the deals alone, not to mention that the frame is a little bit better, it's a little more durable, you do have a little lower latency in the S Pen, and so far from my testing, the performance is flawless. I never even had a problem with the Tab S7 Plus, but the performance is so good on this tablet. I have not had any hiccups, the screen is absolutely gorgeous, and in my mind, if you're out there, another question you might ask yourself is should you consider this or the Tab S8 or the Tab S8 Plus or the Tab S8 Ultra? And I'll simply say this, if you're someone that really wants a smaller tablet, or if you're someone that doesn't mind a smaller tablet at all, I think the Tab S8 is the best deal. It's not an AMOLED display on that, but it does have a outside the screen, it's on the power button, the fingerprint sensor, and I think that's a bonus because I think it's a little faster, it's a little more accurate, and I think a lot of you might actually prefer a fingerprint sensor that's on the outside of the device. The keyboard cover on the Tab S8 is crammed, and that may be a very big deal to you. If it is, and if the device being smaller is a big deal, look, I would not recommend the Tab S8. In that case, I would recommend this Tab S8 Plus. Now, if you're someone that says the bigger the screen, the better, then yes, the S8 Ultra, of course it's a great deal. Plus, they've had a lot of great deals with that keyboard cover, and the keyboard cover on the Tab S8 Ultra, it is different and it is backlit, and that may be enough for some of you to want to upgrade. And if you're an artist and you're someone who likes to draw, that huge canvas will be a really big deal to you, and I think some of you say, hey, I want a bigger screen, I want a huge screen. For some of you, this is going to be a laptop replacement, and I think those type of people really need to consider that S8 Ultra. But in my testing and in my use, the Tab S8 is a little bit too small for me. The Tab S8 Plus is just big enough to be like a laptop replacement and to get a lot of productivity done, but it's also small enough to be thin and light and portable and to bring with me on the go. The Tab S8 Ultra is a little bit bigger. It's a little bit too big in my opinion for your average person. So I think your average person, if I'm giving my guess as far as what device will be the best, what device will sell the most, I think the Tab S8 Plus is the best middle ground because it has an AMOLED display. The Tab S8 does not. It also is a little bit smaller than the Tab S8 Ultra, but it's bigger than the Tab S8. So I think it's the perfect size for a tablet. I think it's big enough to be a laptop. I think the keyboard is just fine overall, so it's not backlit. But I think overall the Tab S8 Plus is going to be the device that I'm going to keep. And I personally think, and I'm not sure, but I think overall, I think it's the device that a lot of people are going to settle on. But there's a lot of hype with the Tab S8 Ultra. A lot of people are super excited about it, and I can see why. It does have that extra camera, it does have that cool motion tracking, and of course that Tab S8 Ultra is just huge. And a lot of people are excited because we haven't seen a tablet that big. But if you're not someone who cares about that, I think the Tab S8 Plus is probably the device for you, assuming you're not really trying to save a lot of money. If you want to save a ton of money and you just want all of the power in a smaller form factor, of course, the Tab S8 is good for you. So hopefully these first impressions have helped you. I am very, very positive and very excited about this device. I think this is a tremendous tablet that a lot of you should really consider buying. So please consider giving me a like. If you do use the links in the description, by the way, that's a huge way to help my channel. But as you could tell in this video, I just try to keep it real and help you out. And another way I could maybe help you, if you leave a comment below, I would be happy to help you any way I can to answer questions or to really just talk about really any advice that you might need. Finally, one other way you could help me is to follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/digestandroid and check out some other videos, by the way, if you get a little bit of time. So thank you so much, have a great day, and stay tuned for more Tab S8, S8 Ultra, and S8 Plus content. Thank you.